Reform done okay in yesterday's elections, and it sent a shockwave through British politics to a smaller extent. It's not earth-shattering, but it certainly has given the two major parties, the Tories and Labour, a firm slap in the face, and there's no doubt about that. Looking at it from the different parties' perspectives, first of all, just to look at it from the Reform, because it was Reform's Day, they got 79 council results I'm looking at on BBC News right at this moment. That's up 79 because there was no seats before that, but Conservatives, 62 councillors lost, Labour 13, Independents down 6. Liberal Democrats did gain a couple of councillors, but in the main, I mean, you're looking at almost 80 councillors for Reform. And of course, let's not forget about Andrea Jenkins, who's become the first Reform mayor, and that's quite another landmark. But without any shadow of a doubt, the by-election was the big one. And, you know, the Reform candidate there, Sarah Pochin, or Pochin, however you want to describe it, that is quite a major victory, because what it really does, it sends a signal to the other parties, which essentially says, look, we did run and we did get 5 seats at the last election, and a lot of people just said that was a fluke, you were using momentum. But obviously that's not true, because today what we're looking at is another seat in the by-election there. So really Reform is starting to prove that they're not just a fluke. And obviously within all of this, you've got a Nigel Farage, the man, the myth. And he is certainly the man of the moment. He just, whatever he's doing right now, he seems to have a deep understanding of the political arena in Britain. He seems to understand voters. Politicians hate him, so he must be doing something right. And the media seem to want to trip him up all the time. But certainly, Nigel Farage is a leading Reform from the front. And that can be a problem, because if it becomes all about Nigel, then, you know, things can happen. I don't think that's the case. I think slowly but surely, Nigel Farage isn't becoming the whole face of Reform. He's still, you know, without a doubt, without Nigel, it's questionable where Reform would be. But certainly, I think Nigel is coming to terms with the balance of where he plays within the whole Reform cake. But certainly Reform is, you know, at this moment, mostly Nigel Farage. Now, on to the Tories. I don't think Tory High Command has any idea of the seismic shifts that's going on in our society. I think they're woefully out of date. I think as well, the lifespan of Kemi Badenoch, she has been doing a bit better recently. But certainly, Kemi needs to start making more inroads, or certainly within the next 12 months or so, I think we can see a change. And the next Tory leadership could actually be the one that ruins the Conservatives, because unless the Tories pick somebody like a Jenrick, somebody that can really reconnect with people on the right, they're in big trouble. And, you know, they can be in politics for 100 years, they can have big money backers, they can have all the stuff in the world stacked for them. Even the old school kind of Tory academic crowd still behind them. If they pick the wrong candidate next time, they are toast in the modern era of social media, when you've got really, really clever players like Farage, you know, just kind of swanning through all of this. It's a dangerous time for the Tories coming up. Either Kemi has to find her feet quickly and come out with some real policies and, you know, try to connect with the public, or we're going to see another leadership election. And if they pick the wrong one this time, it's not going to go well. And finally, Keir Starmer and Labour. Starmer looks weak. He didn't campaign. Why did he not campaign? Because if they would have lost, he didn't want to appear to look weak. But they only lost by a few votes. You're telling me if he hadn't went down there or went up there, wherever it is in relation to where he is, and, you know, knocked on a few doors, they wouldn't have had the 6 votes. I think that was a mistake. So all the time in trying to protect his image, and this is a thing with Starmer, he just doesn't play it from the heart with a straight bat. He's always trying to take the angle, always trying to take the best PR advice. And it's transparent to the public. It was an important by-election for Labour. Kemi was there, and she knew it was going to be an absolute atrocity. And she was there, but no Starmer, because he didn't want it to taint his premiership. Not that it seems to have helped any. And the final point I will make is this, about social media. Social media has changed our society so much. And, if you look back to something like the Arab Spring happened and it changed, a continent. It changed countries. Social media is very, very powerful. And our dear great leaders have worked out that social media is powerful, but they haven't worked out how to use it to their ends. Whereas you've got somebody like Nigel Farage who much more deeply understands social media. And how does he understand it? Because he understands what people want. And an easy thing to draw on would be migration. He understands how people feel about migration, and he's the only one willing to come out and say it and promote it on social media. While the traditional parties and all of the liberal elite media, what they're interested in doing is propagating the old narrative. And so you've got someone like Nigel Farage and other people who've ran businesses in the Reform Party who understand technology, like Mr. Youssef, who does understand technology quite well. And they understand the game, and they are playing it hard. And I don't think the other parties have a chance against this level of expertise that's coming out from Reform at the minute. And that's why they're winning in the media at the moment. Will it last? Who knows? Will it make a dent in the next election? I don't know. I can only look at politics from today. But certainly, Reform with Nigel Farage here had a belting night, and the Tories and Labour looked as ineffectual and as dead in the water as ever. And I think both of those, the old parties are heading for leaderships. Tories within a year, Labour within a couple. They'll let it run for a little while before they get rid of Starmer, but he is completely unelectable next time, and so without a doubt they'll be getting rid of him. Who would it be? My initial bet would be Andy Burnham, but what would I know? I'm just a bloke from up north. Anyway, thanks very much for your time.